Let's talk about your BDR, Sarah. She wakes up, scrolls LinkedIn, runs a few sales nav searches, and then spends the next 3 hours manually combing through websites to build a Google Sheet. She then uploads that sheet to an enrichment tool, realizes she's out of credits again, and gets valid data for maybe 30% of her list. By the end of the day, she has spent 80% of her time on manual research and data entry, but her actual prospecting time, 1.6 hours. Now, this is the old way, and it's why your outbound engine is failing. You're paying overqualified sales reps to be virtual assistants. For the last 7 years, my team and I have been engineering a new way, a system that has generated over 100 million in pipeline for B2B SaaS companies. We call it the OC way. So in the next 45 minutes, I'm tearing down the old playbook and giving you the exact 3-pillar system we use to build predictable, repeatable revenue machines. This isn't a collection of hacks. This is a complete go-to-market operating system. So let's begin. The first pillar, and the one that underpins everything, is data. Most people think outbound starts with a clever opening line, but they're wrong. It starts with your TAM definition and deep qualification. So one of our core commandments is, you shall make the list the message. A well-built list is the campaign. Generic lists get generic results. So the old way is flawed. You apply a few basic filters in a static database like Apollo or Zoom Info, pull a list based on job titles, and start spraying and praying. But the result, your CRM is a mess, and you're targeting 60% of irrelevant people and destroying your domain reputation. The new way is a systematic 5-step process, and these are our list building first principles. Number 1 is sourcing. We don't just use one database. We pull from LinkedIn, find lookalikes of your best customers, scrape even event attendee lists. The source is your starting block. 2, enriching. This isn't just about finding an email. It's enriching for context, company description, tech stack, and funding data. We use tools like Clay to get a 360-degree view. 3, qualifying. Now we use that enriched context to qualify accounts against your ICP. Is this a real fit, or does it just match a keyword? AI can help automate this, scoring leads based on dozens of data points. 4, segmenting. This is where the magic happens. We don't just have one list, we have tiers. Tier 1 for ABM, Tier 2 for automated sequences, Tier 3 for different plays. We segment by persona, by intent signals, by triggers. 5, routing. Finally, we route these segments. High intent leads go straight to an SDR for a call. Low intent leads go into an always-on nurture workflow. This isn't a one-time task. It's a dynamic, always-on system. Your data foundation dictates the success of everything that follows. Get this right, and you've already won half of the battle. So now that you have clean, segmented data, we move to pillar 2, which is strategy. So this is where we stop blasting campaigns and start orchestrating them. The old way is a single generic sequence for everyone. The new way is to think in 3 distinct campaign types. First, you have your evergreen campaigns. These are your bread and butter. Simple, reliable, quick wins that you should run every 3 to 6 months. Think about first-degree connections. Your existing network is your warmest audience. Event playbooks. Going to an event, scrape the speakers and attendees and reach out beforehand. You'll generate 10 meetings before you're even there. Lookalike campaigns. Find companies that look exactly like your best customers and use a pain-based use case messaging. And these are repeatable plays that consistently generate pipeline. Second, you have always-on campaigns. These are automated workflows that run continuously in the background, capturing intent as it happens. Company page followers. Someone follows your LinkedIn page, that's a low-intent signal, but it triggers an automated soft-touch message. Website visitors. Someone from a target account hits your pricing page, that's a high-intent buying signal. It alerts your BDR immediately. Champion tracking. A past customer moves to a new company, that's the easiest sale you'll ever make. So automated tracking and the outreach. Thirdly, you have signal-led campaigns. These are your most advanced plays. They require more setup, but can yield breakthrough results. Organizational triggers, for example. A company has a hiring spike for sales roles. They're growing. A new C-suite leader is starting. They have a budget and a mandate to make changes. Tech stack changes. A company just dropped a competitor's tool. That's your window of opportunity. Funding announcements, for example. A company just raised a Series B. They have cash and a growth problem to solve. And by combining these 3 campaign types, you move from a static, one-size-fits-all approach to a dynamic system that touches every relevant account at the right time with the right message. So you have the data, you have the strategy. Now you need the machine to run it all. And this is pillar 3. Infrastructure, or what we call revops. So your tech stack is not just a collection of tools. It needs to be an interconnected system. And at the center of that system is your CRM. This must be your single source of truth. Every piece of data, every interaction, every campaign touchpoint must flow back into your CRM. Why? Because this is how you build feedback loops. You learn from every touch, not just from replies. This data feeds then back into your strategy and makes your data in pillar 1 even smarter over time. And this is where a tool like Clay becomes the central nervous system connecting everything. It pulls data from your sources, it pushes enriched and segmented contacts into your outreach platforms like Lemlist or SmartLead, and syncs it all back to your CRM, for example, HubSpot. And this infrastructure allows you to run through multi-channel campaigns where an email goes out if there's no reply, a LinkedIn connection request is sent automatically, if they accept, a message is triggered, if they visit the website, the SDR gets a phone call task. And this is how you go from the old way, where an SDR spends 1.5 hours a day prospecting, to the OC way, where they spend 7 hours a day on high-value activities because the machine is handling all the rest. And so your infrastructure is what makes scaling possible. It's the engine that powers your entire growth system. So let's bring it all together. Data. Stop buying stale lists. Build a dynamic system for sourcing, enriching, and segmenting your ideal customer. Remember, the list is the message. Strategy. Stop blasting generic sequences. Orchestrate a mix of evergreen, always-on, and signal-led campaigns to deliver relevance at scale. Then, infrastructure. Stop using disconnected tools. Build an integrated revenues machine with your CRM at the core to create powerful feedback loops. And this is the system. This is how you move from unpredictable, urgent activity through predictable, engineered growth. It's not about working harder. It's about building a smarter machine. And so now you have the blueprint, but I know building this from scratch can be daunting. So in my next video, I'm going to show you how to build an always-on company page follower campaign step by step using Clay and HubSpot. It's a simple, powerful play you can set up this week. So hit subscribe so you don't miss it. And if you're a SaaS revenue leader who wants to accelerate this process, there's a link in the description to book a free 30-minute outreach audit where I'll personally review your current go-to-market flow and show you the single biggest bottleneck that's killing your response rates. So thanks a lot for watching. Now let's go engineer your growth.